Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the February 11th, 2026 Joint Finance Audit Budget and Internal Services Committees. Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is adoption of the agenda.
Romano adopts the agenda.
Support Wallace.
Motion from Commissioner Romano, support from Commissioner Wallace. Seeing no speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next item is approval of the minutes. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes dated January 14th, 2026.
So moved. Support.
Motion from Commissioner Goyke, support from Commissioner Van Sickle. Are comments or questions on the minutes? Seeing none, commissioners, please vote.
Bueno, yes. Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next item is public participation. Anybody from the public wishing to speak on any agenda item has 3 minutes. Come on up to the podium. Anybody for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we will close public participation. There is one more before the end of the meeting. And we move on to item 6. We have 2 presentations today, so I will take a motion to receive and file presentations on the Central Intake and Assessment Center and from the Treasurer's Office 2025 third and fourth quarterly reports.
So moved.
Support.
Motion from Commissioner Romano, support from Commissioner Wallace. First up, we have the CIAC update. Scooble is out today, so we have Verlander up to pitch.
Back in Detroit.
Joe, take it away whenever you're ready.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Joe Mallory here, Deputy Director for F&O. I'm pleased to kick off our first quarterly CIAC CIP update of 2026. And here to start the presentation is actually our real Verlander, Joe Asperger, and Brian Wilkie from Plant Moran Real Point.
Happy to be in front of you, especially standing. So thanks for making the time for us today. So back for our quarterly update to give you an update on where we are. We will go through and just a quick agenda, just talking through, of course, reminder of what our goals and objectives are, what our funding status and budget status is, running through where our procurement has been, design status, as well as our construction update. So quick reminder, you guys have these. We continue to remind this of you, but these are our guiding principles that we continue to follow throughout in all of our decisions that we make. Quick update relative to project funding. This really isn't anything new, but just as a reminder, our 3 primary funding sources being the Treasury ARPA funding of nearly $130 million, $40 million of state appropriation, and a roughly $60 million of general fund. Since last update, there was an amendment that was brought before you for $1.2 million from some additional capital improvement items that was added to the overall project scope, bringing to just over $230 million. As an ongoing reminder, the project, it does continue to be on time and on budget. And I will point you to your dashboard reports that you receive monthly to see those financial updates by category across there. We have been asked by the chair to give kind of a year in review. So just a quick update, kind of where we stand overall. Much of this is reflected in each of your dashboard reports. And so you will see that to just kind of elaborate a little bit on it and to kind of bring it all together of how what's transpired over the last year and a half or so. We do have 8 executed contracts relative to professional services that were brought before you and executed for just over $18.5 million. Actual accruals for those are roughly about $13.5 million have been paid out. So we're about 72% of most of those expenses at this point. Those are things like A&E services, material testing, environmental, those type of things that have been brought before you. Regulatory, most of that has been paid out. We do anticipate and forecast that there may be some other minor items, but about 95% of regulatory expenses, those are things like plan review and permitting fees and everything else that go to the agencies that have authority over this particular project. Owner-related costs, we're about 50% or nearly 50% with some of those costs. Those are things like administrative type expenses that we have and other legal expenses, title work, those type of things. Relative to our construction contract, we have two. The majority of it is actually held by Granger Construction. There is some minor construction relative that falls into the category of some of the environmental abatement work that was brought before you previously. But we're about, in total, through December 31st, I should have pointed that out, we're about 23% of actual approved of the commitments that are in place. FF&E is actually furniture, fixtures, and equipment. We're actually just in the process of getting a lot of that going because of the long runway of this project. We are working with the design professionals to actually design, select, and work with the sheriff's office to identify those furniture, that equipment, medical equipment, those type of things that it takes to actually support this and have that in time and in ready for when the project is expected to open in 2027. Technology expenses, similar to FF&E, we want to purchase those just in time. So we've been working with Metro Technology Services in a few different packages. There have been a few packages, contracts awarded. You'll see 4 of them. Those are brought forward. Those are some minor things that enabled us to kind of move some technology. You know, if you recall, there was actually some of the one of the primary MDF or the main technology rooms was in the basement of the jail. We had moved that out of there in preparation for the work that was happening. And so there was some other minor work that happened in that. Contingency is still healthy at just over $9 million. Just some key takeaways. As always, the project continues to be on budget. You know, this is a report, as I mentioned, through the 31st of 2025. We've bought out about 90% of the commitments in total for the project. So in summary, as I mentioned, there's still some things that we still have to buy out, the technology, the FF&E, and some other miscellaneous items. But for the most part, there's about 90% of that bought out at this point. Outstanding items, I won't go over those again. Other things, including things like signage, interior, exterior, monument signage, directional type signage that'll be used you know, to direct the public to the new entrances and the new central intake. We also expect some move management and moving type services as we shift some departments around as things move from current spaces in the jail over to the central intake. And again, contingency at this point is appropriate for this part of the project with about 4% of the total project and about $9.2 million. Procurement status, most everything has been, from a professional service, has been bought out. The FF&E is in process, and the move management piece will be deferred still until later 2026, 2027. Construction technology services, much of which has been bought out. We do have, are working through a few technology packages, which really encompass our primary technology packages. Structured cabling, all of the miles of spaghetti that runs to operate all the technology, the security electronics, detention equipment throughout. That's a change order that we've worked through and will be brought forth before you. We are working with Metro Technologies to finalize a couple other packages relative to network equipment, AV equipment, video surveillance, and some of the access control. And then furnishings are primarily we refer to them as non-detention furnishings. So this is the stuff that most of us are accustomed to seeing. All the detention grade furnishing was actually already bought out as part of the construction package and will be installed relative to all the other detention equipment, detention walls and detention doors and all that, so that those can actually be installed by the professionals in that equipment. There is some miscellaneous equipment, medical fitness type stuff to build out in the signage. We do want to continue. I know some of you aren't always that familiar with where the design and everything is. We're starting to see that. If you drive by, you're starting to see that, of course, come out of the ground. It's really starting to take shape. You see the exterior facade and the precast coming together. Brian will elaborate a little bit more in a little bit about the construction status, but demolition, 3 of the 4 wings have been demolished. Later this year, we do expect the rehab wing to be demolished. Much of that is contingent upon work inside the jail that's happening. So the rehab area actually provides swing space for the inmates, in addition to those that are actually outsourced at this time. Reminder of the site plan with the secured parking areas, the main drop-off area, and kind of the shift of where the general public and population will be. The shift on the left or the west side where the new booking vehicle sally port people will drive in. As you start to see this from a bird's eye view from the south and the west, the vehicle sally port, drive-through sally port being in the foreground, actually permitting agencies to be able to drive through, secure, detain as inmates are transferred from vehicle into the booking area and the intake area. Some public views as the public enters the facility from the south side, enters the public lobby. Some other spaces that really kind of reflect some of the staff areas. There is an interior courtyard. The building does have a fairly large footprint. So the interior courtyard does help to bring natural light into the building for the building occupants and does create space in a non-secured area for staff to be able to go out into. In fact, the thumbnail picture in the foreground is actually a current construction status of that open through there. That's actually just temporary enclosure and draping across it. And locker room area for the correctional staff. Inmate type areas in some of the day rooms. This actually reflects some of the 4th floor type areas where there's actually mezzanine space to be able to move through, but these are actually renderings to depict the space. Interior courtyards, these are actually some of the, not interior, these are interior but fresh air courts. To enable inmates to be able to have that fresh air and outdoor experience. And some additional areas relative to pre-admissions clinic areas. And I'm going to turn this over to Brian Wilkie to kind of give you an update of where we are from a construction standpoint. Any questions on those first slides before I'll pause there for a second?
We'll just let Brian go and then we'll just
Okay,
fire
sounds
him
good.
off when we're done.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Afternoon, everybody. So kind of just give you a overall construction activity update. So in the CIAC, as you've probably seen if you've driven by, precast is going up. It's working on the 4th floor right now. The concrete floor and metal deck is complete. The last remaining is the roof slab on metal deck. The mechanical, electrical, plumbing, roughing is ongoing on all floors. It's busy bees inside the tower. Masonry metal stud installation and metal detention sheeting installation is ongoing, starting from 1st floor up. The fireproofing activities are ongoing on the main level. Most of the other floors that have been covered and closed are completed at this time. The temporary protection, as you can kind of see, is plastic in, and we're getting temp heat in the building as the crews are working up to make sure we maintain a decent temperature inside the facility. The temporary protection or the structure for the connector for the CIP to the CIAC is also ongoing as well. We have some pictures of that as we move forward here. So interior construction, as you can see on the left, just as the build out of the electrical substation for all the conduits and housekeeping pads are going in place as the equipment arrives. In the center, you can see MEP rough in from the basement locations, all sorts of different things from electrical to low voltage conduit to fire protection and ongoing. Just go over to the right, up right hand corner. The interior constructions is on the main level. They are prepping for masonry installation with some of the scaffolding in place there. On the lower left-hand corner, you can see interior metal studs, fire suppression, and ductwork getting ready to be installed. The middle photo you see there is a future fresh air court as the precast gets stood up there. You see the bracing on the precast as the rest of the structure gets completed there. And the metal sheeting, the metal sheet paneling as well is put up on some of the locations where it's necessary. For the CIP,
The max security and D-block mass demolition is complete, as you can see in some of the photos here. Utility replacement in C-Pod is finalizing. Handover process for D-Pod is actually coming in the next week or so. The shooting range renovations are ongoing. Dentist office renovation for the new fire command center for both facilities is in process as well. The fiber cleaning network switch upgrades is going on for the overall system. That's in process, as well as we're coordinating with Macomb IT. And the new HVAC unit installation on the tower itself, those were set, and the installation is ongoing. Some of the additional photos you see here. So in the basement, the chiller water piping replacement is ongoing. Some of the pictures here on the upper right-hand side for the gun range remodeling. You can see on the lower left some of the chase work that has to be going in the tight spaces those teams have to work in. And you can see the connector foundations that'll be tying in the existing facility to the new facility are moving along. Here's some photos of the new units that got lifted into place and were set in for the tower itself. For the overall program schedule, we remain on schedule. We are, obviously keeping a sharp eye on the ARPA funding and that completion time frame. The teams are, working through all the additional challenges and working through the pods, as well as then working through all of the construction items that you've seen for the CIAC in tandem together on the site. Questions?
Thank you guys for the presentation. Appreciate it. We will go to Commissioner Romano.
I just want to make a statement. This time and day and age, where we see a lot of construction projects going on, and we hear during the middle of the project or towards the end of the project, gee, I'm awful sorry, but we got an overrun of 10 million or 20 million and 30 million. This is refreshing to see that not only is this project on time, but it's within budget. So gentlemen, kudos to you. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you. The one thing that I was looking for was how much of each of the categories we dipped into for the money, particularly the ARPA money. Maybe in the future, we could see how much of that we've actually billed against, because not all of the initial monies is going against the ARPA money. I understand some of it's coming out of the state money and some of it's coming out of the county money. And so I'd sort of like to understand that mix and how we're progressing along.
Certainly, I know that Vicki Wahlberg was working on a lot of that, and we've been auditing and looking through that process, much of which is there's certain things that are qualifiable under each. There's orders in which some of that stuff can be used.
Exactly.
And so, the ARPA money was paid out initially. State of Michigan is a reimbursement, but ARPA has to be spent first before State of Michigan, so there's a lot of those type of things of why each pod is kind of hitting it, but we've been working closely with Vicki to finalize those details, but in the future, things certainly can bring that forward.
I'm interested to see that we're dipping into the other monies as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Howard.
Hey, you mentioned something about a change order, and I wasn't here when the initial project got started, and so I know I feel like always some catching up on this project to do, especially around the contingency budget. Can you give me some more background around how do you guys plan on spending that? Ideally not spending it, right? But there's at least been one budget amendment for this project. Like, is there any foreseeable issues in the future? And can you speak towards the change order that you mentioned?
Certainly. There's actually, I think, only one other additional budget amendment for some additional capital improvement items that was actually slated for 2027. So that's actually deferred for that point, which was work that was brought forward and brought part as a means to integrate it with the project to get the most value out of the trades that are on, work that's happening in those areas and everything else. Relative to change orders, the change order that I referred to is actually for a number of different items, some of which may dip into that $9.2 million contingency. That's available for things that may be outside of the scope of what was already bought out. Maybe there was items that were added, there were errors and omissions, some of those type of things that happen in a project like this. In some cases, in one that we are bringing forward, we've actually anticipated, the one that I mentioned was for structured cabling, technology structured cabling. That is actually work that was anticipated and is part of the technology budget and was planned as part of the technology, but we're buying it out as part of the construction, utilizing trades and capabilities in some of the management and coordination that happens with, for instance, like Granger Construction to be on. So it provides, it limits the number of gaps that happen sometimes when you got an outside contractor working with another outside contractor. When we can make it part of one, then they have the responsibility to it. But
No, that makes sense. Thank you for that background information. Not really a question, more so, I guess, sort of a statement. I appreciate the quality of life for the staff that you guys have thought through this project. Understanding that law enforcement across the entire country, regardless of what state you're working in, are seeing less and less applicants. More so, particularly around corrections. I think the state of Michigan is understaffed by like 600 or 700 correctional officers, and so we know quality of life in their environment that they work in is a huge aspect of that, especially considering some of the concerning things out of other jails like Huron Valley. And so I really appreciate the intentional effort towards quality of life for the staff that's going to be working there.
I give kudos to Dr. Amboyer for making sure that that continues to resonate as part of the vision, the objectives, and everything else, to make sure that it is a safe environment, not only for for the inmates and those that are there, but the staff that are giving of their time and talents and everything else to invest in that. Absolutely, and that's kind of why we wanted to hit on some of those things specifically, just reflecting on some of the design, knowing that there has been change with some of the commissioners, to be able to remind of some of the things that in there. So that's why we kind of continue to keep the design, even though we're well into construction, just a reminder of what the vision and stuff is as it's coming to life.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Joe, great to see you on your feet.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Just want to give kudos to the whole team. Commissioners, I sit on a monthly meeting with pretty much half of this side of the room here. So keeping us up to date as to what's going on with this project, which I know we're at, 33%, 1/3 of the way done.
About a third, yeah.
So huge accomplishment. Just to follow up what Commissioner Romano had said, during this process, this team always is looking for cost savings, Commissioner. So they've done a great job. And when we look at the Excel spreadsheet and we see zero all the way to the right, it's always a good visual for us in that sense. So just one quick question in regards to the tower rooftop units. How many rooftop units did we install over at the jail?
Was it only 4? I think it was more than 6. I think it was 6. Yeah.
6 total.
6 were replaced, yeah.
So that's everything. Everything was replaced on those towers?
No.
Sorry about that. My name's Dominic Guadino. I'm project manager for facilities and operations. So there are 6 units on top of the jail. For some odd reason, I don't recall why, but 5 were scheduled to be replaced, but the 6th one also should have been replaced too. So we are in the process of replacing that. So all 6 units will be new.
Great.
So
Okay. Wonderful. Just my last thought, thank you for the yearly update and kind of getting us an update team for the board so we know where we stand collectively on the whole project, and just kudos to everyone. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Chair. Only question I have for you guys, I know at the beginning of this process, we had X amount of mental health beds and then X amount of medical beds. That number shifted slightly as we started to go through the design and implementation process. Has that number changed at all since that point? Or are we still on track to those numbers? Sorry, I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head.
Yes, sir. We're concerned. About 35% of the population today, which happens to be 895, do have mental health or substance use problems or issues that we're addressing quite proactively. As a consequence, we've maintained that in the new facility. So we feel very confident that the 35 or 40% traditionally we've had since 1987 will be accommodated in a new facility who have substance abuse or mental health disorders.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I see no other speakers. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the update. Now we will move on to item B, presentation from the Treasurer's Office. Christina and Skip.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are here today to present the third and fourth quarter of 2025, the portfolio. If you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them. Just a few things I do want to add is we have changed a little bit of the strategy on the roads investments. They are all going to be, as they mature, we're going to be purchasing treasuries. And by the end of March of '27, they will all be converted over to treasuries instead of CDs. The other thing that we accomplished this last year was we actually hit our portfolio countywide, so general fund and public works, CMH, Martha T. Berry. I don't know if I'm forgetting any roads. We did hit $1 billion again, so that's quite an accomplishment. So we only have that amount for a very short period of time, but I enjoy it while it's there. So just figured we'd let you guys know. The other thing is that for 2025, the investment income among all funds was approximately 42 million. So that's a nice accomplishment as well. Treasuries, the rates have started, they have been going down. So currently we're at, for approximately a 1 month to a 6 month, we're probably approximately 3.6%, and the 1 year's around 3.4, which is quite a bit of a drop from what we were receiving last year. So just to give everybody a heads up on that. Other than that, that's all I have for today. I don't know if Skip has anything. Actually, one more thing is we are continuing to watch all of the banks' ratings. And that's pretty important. We do have Flagstar that's a little bit below where we like to be, but the one account that we do have with them is under the FDIC insurance level, so we're pretty comfortable with that being there, that one bank account that we have. So if anybody has any questions, if not, that's all we have, unless Skip has anything.
Thanks, Christina. Thanks, Skip. The only question I have is Comerica. Are we with them? Are we using them with the changeover and all that that's going on? How were we affected by that?
Well, for those of you who don't know, just a few days ago, Comerica was acquired by Fifth Third for $10.3 billion. That now we have to analyze to see how much money we have. It now forms what is reportedly the 9th largest bank in the United States. That may or may not mean something. But at the end of the day, we're going to be taking a look at what we had in Comerica, what we've got in Fifth Third, and then reapportion. We are pushing towards, wherever possible, treasuries for full faith and credit of the United States government. That's about it for that. Flagstar is just Community Central Bank by a new name, so they're still struggling with the issues.
Did you want me to touch base on Comerica, what we have with them?
Yeah, go right ahead. She'll tell you what's in Comerica. It's
Okay.
not a lot.
Currently, I believe we have 2 CDs left with Comerica, and I believe it's approximately, I would say, maybe 6,000, a little bit less, or I'm sorry, 6 million, or a little bit less than that. We did have 2 other bank accounts with them, and we did close them. There just wasn't a need to keep them open, so we put them into the fund that they, where they should be. So that's about all we have. If you guys have anything else.
Thanks for the update. Commissioner Perna has a question.
Question, on converting from the CDs over to treasuries, what do you anticipate the percentage of increase will be in revenue?
The revenue, the interest is approximately the same. It's just a much safer environment. Even if we were, losing a little bit of interest on it, it is a much safer investment than the CD. Because the CD is only backed for $250,000 under the FDIC insurance. So that's why we would like to get everything into treasuries if possible. So.
Great, thank you.
And we're working towards that with the help of roads.
Thank you, Commissioner. Seeing no other speakers, commissioners, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next is department recommendations. We have Resolution 2026-15005, a resolution designating public fund depositories in compliance with Act 40, Public Acts of 1932 as amended. Take a motion to recommend that to full board.
Support.
Motion from Commissioner Haas, support from Commissioner Van Sickle. Christina?
I don't have anything to present regarding this. If anybody has any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them. We haven't changed anything with the depository resolution.
Thank you both. I see no speakers. Commissioners, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
All right, last item for the Finance Audit and Budget Committee is correspondence, open bids as of February 11th, 2026. I'll take a motion to receive and file.
Motion to receive and file.
Motion from Commissioner Grote, support from Commissioner Lucido. Seeing no speakers, commissioners, please vote.
Commissioner Van Sickle, the
Yes.
system didn't receive your vote.
Never showed up.
Would you like me to put it in for you? Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. And now I will turn this over to Commissioner Van Sickle for the Internal Services Committee.
Thank you. Internal Services Committee will start with a contract for Frank Rewold and Son, Department of Roads, Salt Barn Replacement for $1,875,789. I need a motion to move the full board.
Support.
Thank you. I didn't catch a name.
Wallace.
Commissioner Wallace and Perna made the motion and seconded it to move this item to full board.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item 10A, Frank Rewald's and Son, Department of Roads Salt Barn Replacement in the amount of $1,875,789. This item is for the Macomb County Department of Roads, Division 4 Shelby Township Service Center. This is for the timber salt storage. The original intent of this project was to solicit bids for a traditional timber frame salt barn structure that is a similar structure to what we have at 3 other Macomb County Department of Roads sites. The bids consisted of all necessary work related to the construction of the new timber salt storage, including constructing an 80-foot by 160-foot high arch gambrel treated timber building. The related site work, stormwater and electrical. After further discussions between Department of Roads, F&O, and Plant Moran, it was decided to also solicit bids from the qualified contractors for 2 additional modernized buildings. Pre-engineered metal building, PMB, or a vinyl or fabric structure salt barn. The modernized designs are similar to recent MDOT and other municipal buildings. After post-bid and internal discussions, it was decided to select the PEMB structure with 11.5-foot poured concrete walls and vapor barrier, not only for the significant cost savings, but for durability, warranty, and constructability. It is important to note Frank Rewald and Sons is the low bidder on both the timber frame structure and the PMB. They are fully capable of constructing any of the iterations of the design, including the original design. Lastly, this project will receive a 19% total cost contribution from the state of Michigan. The percentage contribution is based on historical salt usage data for the salt applied to the state trunk line roads for the state of Michigan.
Thank you. Commissioner Goike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. So my understanding is the change is to be like one of the heavy plastic roof buildings? Is that what it is? Like in our area, AIS Equipment has done, it's a hoop building, correct? Or am I wrong?
Sorry, Andy Fountain with Plant Moran Real Point. The structure that's being recommended is a PEMB. That's a pre-engineered metal building. So there is no plastic wrap or component like vinyl component you mentioned. It is a pre-engineered metal structure with, as Joe mentioned, with 11.5-foot concrete walls, and then you go from metal up to the top of structure.
Well, 30 years ago, everybody got away from going with that because they rotted out and didn't hold up, and that's why they went with the timber structures.
Yeah, hence the concrete structure to 11.5 feet, and then you have metal that carries up from there.
All right, and I think, I mean, all the other salt barns have, you know, they're all the wood structures, the treated wood, and I don't know, they just seem that, that's why they switched over because they held up better with the treated wood as opposed to because of, you know, the acidity of the salt and the deterioration of it. I don't know, I think we're going backwards on that type of design, that's my opinion. But you're the engineers. You got records on?
We're not the engineer of record. We help facilitate the bidding process. That's it. Yep.
Is there some other data showing on the longevity that, you know, versus the old style with the, you know, I'm calling old style now?
I don't have anything at my fingertips right now. We could research that and give you some information.
Okay, because it's like I said, that's what you know, years ago, that's what they were using as normal buildings, basically for the salt, and then they all switched, all the domes all around switched to the wood, you know, treated wood, so that, because of the corrosiveness. So I would be happy to have that, thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, Chair. Joe, I was reading in our notes here, don't go away, Andy. It says after further discussion, DOR, FNO, further discussion with Department of Roads, FNO, and Plant Moran, it was decided to solicit bids. Explain to me again the role Plant Moran plays in this. Not you, Joe, let him.
Sure. No, we were engaged to essentially facilitate the issuance of the RFP and then to receive the bids, assemble the information, provide that to FNO and to the executive's office to then make a decision on how to move forward.
And what role does our purchasing department play?
We coordinated with the purchasing department to draft
Okay, so that was just an omission that they were consulted in this as well?
I'm sorry.
In the notes here, it doesn't mention purchasing at all.
The solicitation process, we coordinated with the purchasing department as part of that process.
Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
Has any look been done to see any of this style of building in the area for salt? Any municipalities using this structure, construction already?
I believe it was covered in the write-up that this is a structure that's utilized by other municipalities as well as the state of Michigan.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Gwicki, did you want a second?
Yeah, I just wanted a follow-up, just, you know, that I'm for it because that salt barn it's unsafe and they're not using it right now. They're using the one in Washington and the one in Clinton Township to haul out of, so it's drastically needed. So I do know that on a personal basis, because I drive around and look at this, so. Thank you.
Commissioner Zinner?
Thank you, Chair. So the metal buildings, do we have an idea how long they last with the salt in them? Is there an expectation?
Again, I don't have a data sheet to reference. We can make that part of our research and follow up with you. But a pre-engineered metal building with the concrete walls, I mean, typical life cycle is about 30 years.
3 years?
30.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, that's a big difference.
A couple of items you referenced, you'll follow up with. Please send it to the staff and they'll distribute it to all the commissioners. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
That's about the same as the other one I was
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you.
Item 10B, budget amendment, facilities and operations, F-101, Macomb Community College Library Building Maintenance for $53,800. I need a motion to move to full board.
Motion to move to full board.
Thank you. Motion by Romano and Kraft to move this item to full board. You're on.
Thank you, Commissioner. FNO is seeking approval for a budget amendment in the amount of $53,800 to pay for costs incurred to date for maintenance of the Macomb County former library building and for future expenses while the county goes through its process to determine the future of the facility.
Commissioner Howard.
There you go. Just out of the spirit of fairness, as I've, referred to other department heads that have come before us, was this cost not considered during the budgeting process?
It was not.
Okay, can you explain why?
I can.
Okay,
This building, as most of you are aware, was just recently turned over back to us from Wayne State University. They had been using this building for well over a decade. So we assumed this building, it was brought in front of the board on some actions to take place. It got tabled. So in the meantime, of course, we have your normal utility cost, and we've also had some issues with some of the HVAC. We want to make sure that's going so we don't have broken pipes, that kind of thing.
gotcha. So just as we are figuring out what we're gonna do with that building, you guys are just making sure it doesn't cave in.
Yes, sir.
Got
Correct.
it. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Just really asking out of the spirit of fairness, because I'm gonna ask all other folks that come up here asking for budget
appreciate it.
amendments,
Yep.
and so thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Just to follow up on the comments, Commissioner, we did not even have a cost center established on this asset, so that's really what the ask is, and we're just putting some money into that cost center so that FNO has, I want to say, some seed money to use towards utilities, supplies, and things that are necessary for it. But they've kept us up to date as to what's been going on there, and I appreciate that. So, thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
So the thought is that in the future, if we choose to sell this building, that the new owner would choose to use the building as opposed to level it and build something else? I'm just wondering if the 53,000 is going to be well spent.
Yes, it will. It will maintain that building in its current condition. Yeah, we got to keep heat on during the winter months. Like I said, there's some mechanical issues we've already addressed in there, kind of as an emergency to make sure that happened with the low temps, but we're pretty confident this will see us through the year at least.
Okay, good. Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to supplement Chair Sabatini's comments. This is the item that sits on my agenda every month until we get an appraisal on the building. So this is a prelude to the appraisal to show, obviously, to up the value of it. So, and that's where it's going to sit until we get that appraisal.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 10C, Corporate Elevator Asset Management for Martha T. Berry Modernization Modernization Project for $101,540. I need a motion to move this to full board.
Designating motions.
Support. Lucille.
Thank you. Commissioner Howard and Lucido made the motion and seconded it to move this item to full board.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is for the design and contract administration with Corporate Elevator Consulting Services Project Management for the 2 traction and 3 hydraulic modernizations at the Martha T. Berry Building. The scope of work for this project will include the upgrade of all major components of the elevator and options in accordance with the Michigan Safety Code for elevator and escalators. Corporate Elevator Asset Management will write a scope of work and specifications, work with county purchasing to solicit bids from local vetted elevator contractors, coordinate a site visit with prospective bidders, answer any questions about the specs, review the bids with the county, and assist in selecting the best suited elevator contractor based on our specifications, knowledge, expertise, and costs. Once bids are approved, Corporate Elevator Asset Management will continue to act as project manager, owner representative for the installation of the elevator.
Thank you, Commissioner Howard.
Really quick, I know it has to get through the bid process and you won't really have a true timeline until, we get started with the bids. Do you have a ballpark of a idea what how long this might take?
Design, do you have any ideas on design for that? I can get that for you, Commissioner.
Yeah, and just to make sure that there will not be interruption of services between now and then in regards to the elevators.
Yeah, so it's my understanding that we're kind of grandfathered in here on this elevator. So obviously the sooner the better, but this elevator is being used and will continue to be used until this modernization has taken place.
Great, thank you so much.
Yep.
That's all. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Goike?
Thank you, sir, miss. I just, I'd like to be a little bit of enlightenment on this, I guess. It's already, building there, it's already, we already have elevators in it. Why don't we just put them out to bid to the elevator companies with their design and build? And they still have to conform with state regulators and state inspectors. Why do we need an outside firm to come into this when it's basically a repair? It's a replacement repair.
Yeah, this is a pretty big scope of work. A lot of times we like to lean on our experts in these fields.
Well, the companies are the experts as well, and if you still got competitive bidding, they would both submit that, kind of like MDOT does on design build stuff, now.
Right.
Contract, to go for it. Is that something we could entertain then maybe, or you don't feel comfortable?
I would go with the latter on that. We like to bring in consultants on these kind of areas of specialties and let them help us along with that process.
Yes. See, my perspective is it's still gonna be the same companies doing it with the same, because they still have to answer to a higher, to higher authorities at the state level and everything to be compliant and safe. And then you got people bidding for the job, and I think it would be, to me, it's this extra $100,000. I guess it's an insurance policy for.
Correct, yep.
In your aspect, but it's just different ways of doing business, I guess. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does asset management take on any responsibility when the state inspectors come in and they don't approve something?
I believe, I don't have those contracts in front of me right now, but I believe that as project lead, they would assume some of those burdens, yes.
Okay, because I would expect if they're for $101,000+, they take on some kind of responsibility for their design and structure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Commissioner Sabatini, I didn't receive your vote.
Yes.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. I'd like to take items 10D and E together for budget amendment for capital improvement fund, jail open neutral repair project for $162,300. I need a motion to move the full board.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Wallace and Howard made the motion, seconded it to move this item to full board.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is part of the due diligence ahead of the CIAC and assessment project, jail capital improvement projects. The county requested an electrical survey in the existing jail tower. The electrical study conducted by Northern Testing was able to identify an issue we had ongoing in the tower that was causing electrical problems throughout the tower. After discovery of the issue, facilities and operations contacted Motor City Electric to assist in determining a fix to the problem. Motor City Electric is an electrical partner of the county and has been impactful on many county projects and especially knowledgeable in the jail. Motor City Electric is already on site and under contract with Granger for the CIAC CIP. So using them makes sense due to prior knowledge of and proximity to the site. This project is also listed in the 2026 capital improvement plan.
Thank you. Is the neutral what we would call ground, or is that the neutral of the two hotlines? Just curious.
I'll lean on Dominic for this
The
one.
neutral would be the white wire.
Okay.
carrying the current back.
That's
Ground is there if the neutral breaks. So that's like the backup.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote on 10D and E.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Moving on to 10F. It's contracts with AT&T, IP, Centrex, long distance, managed internet, and complete link for a total of, I don't have the total here. I need a motion to move these items to full board.
Motion to move to full board.
Support Zinner.
Thank you. Commissioner Romano and Zinner made the motion, seconded to move 10F to full board. Jaco, you're on.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. These are the 6 AT&T contracts that we bring to you as they become due. Most of them are 3-year contracts, except the last one, Complete Link, that's a 2-year contract. We use My Deal pricing for this. The first one is switched Ethernet, which provide our ASE circuits to connect us with CVTs and some of the remote offices. The IP Flex agreement provide phone lines for the county for incoming calls and outgoing calls for our VoIP system. The Centrex contract provide emergency lines, elevator alarms, and things like that, which is at a total of $134,000. And then there's a long distance contract, which is for $3,000. Our management or managed internet provide the county with internet access. We have 2 connections that go out to the internet for a total of $49,000. And then lastly, Complete Link, which provide fire alarms, boiler alarms, and so forth at $33 per line.
Thank you. Commissioner Howard.
Hey, Jaco, I just got a quick question. On the report that we got, it said the project was not bid out. Can you just explain the process on why it wasn't bid out?
Commissioner, we've used AT&T probably for the last 20 years. It is a huge undertaking to switch our internet, ASE circuits, all these providers. One of the things is during the fire in 2013, we were on AT&T. And I know it's sometimes frustrating. I think many of us may be in our personal lives and so on, a large company to work with. But the one thing that we realized in 2013 was that their service during that time was impeccable. They came in within hours of, the fire, and they stayed here pretty much for 7 days straight. Had people on site all the time bringing our systems up and running. Other concerns that we have is that most providers, if not all, in Michigan, ride AT&T circuits at some point in time. They own a large part of the infrastructure. So those are huge concerns for us. And, like I said, we've done business with them for a long time and trust the environment. So
Yeah, I think they're, especially for like government agencies, they've done a phenomenal job. So I was just more so curious on the background information that you just shared. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's why we use the My Deal. We get a pretty good pricing through My Deal, Michigan.
Thank you. That's all, Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Item 10G, Information Technology Maintenance Agreement for first quarter of 2026 for $374,585.72. BSNA Treasurer Tax Assessment System for $59,201. Institute of Applied Networks Security, $43,000, and People Driven Technology SmartNet Infrastructure for $272,384.72. I need a motion to move this item to full board.
Support.
Thank you. Commissioner Howard and Grote made the motion, seconded it to move this item to full board. Jaco?
Commissioners, as Commissioner Van Sickles mentioned, there's 3 contracts, maintenance contracts in front of you today. The BSNA is the tax assessing system for $59,201. IANS, it's a information security organization that provides us very timely and updated information about breaches and things that happen throughout the world. They are very timely. We actually use many sources for that, but we found that they are probably the best organization to find the quickest way find out about breaches that occurred. And then they also help us with, where to go from there, so you can understand how this is affecting business, government, and so forth. We've had them in place now, I think, for about 3 years. And then SmartNet, Cisco is the hardware side of our Cisco environment.
Thank you. Seeing no speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to take items 10H and I together. Budget Amendment, Capital Improvement Fund, Information Technology for, I may not get this right, Avigilon?
Avigilon.
Okay, you said it. Access Control System Phase 2, $518,965. I need a motion to move this to full board.
Motion to move it full board.
Support
Thank you.
Zimmer.
Commissioner Romano and Howard made the motion and seconded it to move this item to full board, or these items. Jaco?
Commissioners, we've been implementing the Avigilon badge access system throughout the county since 2025. This is to complete the rest of the county except the sheriff office, which we will do in sync with the CIAC project as in 2027 as we complete that. This is to upgrade the old key scan system that we have in place today, as well as making sure that we all use throughout the county the same card access system, and everybody, in other words, everybody have access to all the facilities in the county through one card. And so we just want to continue doing what we started last year and complete the rest of it.
Thank you. Commissioner Kraft?
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Jaco. Couple questions for
Commissioner.
you. Phase 1 took about 10 months, 11 months. Do you expect the same or similar timeline for Phase 2?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it takes a little while for us because we do it, really building by building, going through the whole process. So I don't have the project plan in front of me, but it'll take
Should be
us quite a few months.
close-ish, okay. And then you noted the sheriff's office, we were waiting a little bit further down the road for that. Is that included in phase two in terms of dollars, or is that gonna be phase three?
That is, so if you're asking whether it's budgeted in CIAC or budgeted through our IT budget, it is budgeted in our IT budget, because that is for the rest of the building, not for the new building that's being built there.
Okay, which leads into my last question. So this dollar amount is $519,000, say, and in our capital improvement plan, it was around $886,000. Is that the rest?
That is the surplus,
Got it.
or whatever you want to call it, that's going to be done in 2027.
I was hoping you were gonna say, no, we got an extra $300,000, but that's okay. Thank you, Jaco. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So the rest, Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Great minds think alike, Commissioner. Jaco, how long have we been on the current system? What was the useful life of the system that we were on?
I would say probably we're in our 8th year. If you remember, 2018, I think, when we did this building. And that was the time that we went on to the new key scan system. But we've upgraded some of it, throughout time. But
Okay.
I would say probably 8 years or so average.
Okay. I'm just thinking outside of the box because we're going through the space assessment with Plant Moran right now. And I don't know if this is something like on the IT, all the assets that we have in all the different locations, if this is information that would be useful to implement into that report, just because the evolution of that product is going to be something that's going to be more of a real-time status that they'll be able to click on a building and it'll give us all the information. So I don't know, based on this, if the useful life is 10 years, it would fit within that means. And I don't know any of your other assets that are in the buildings that would make sense that would fall into that, but that might be something where you could follow up with Ben and see if that makes sense.
Yeah, Ben and I can discuss that, because for projects that we budget, we actually budget the IT components that's standard, like low voltage and those type of things. We budget that in Ben's budget as a percentage.
Oh, okay, then perfect. That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
So Jaco, will these new upgrades you're doing, will they be the same now as, for instance, the new readers that are on the parking garage downstairs and the?
Yes, it's that newer one that you have with the light strip at the top. That's
Yeah.
the Avigilon.
The one thing noticeable about those is you have to get your badge closer to them than the old system.
Yeah, you might have, but personally, my experience is they work pretty well. When you have your badge up to them, it
Yeah.
acts immediately.
You got to get close, though. Who manages badge access? Is that somebody in your department or somebody, do we have?
So we have access to the system to manage badge access for some areas in the county. Other areas, like the sheriff building, they manage their own badge access. Even in this building, we allow some people to manage their own badge access. They trained. But that's really coordinated by the executive office and us. We would have conversations around that.
Do you know if the access is ever audited?
I don't really know that we audit the access in a sense that, are you talking about who has access
Yes.
to it and so on? I don't think so. I think once they determine who can set the badge access for a specific area, then that pretty much stays
Because
consistent.
people change departments.
Then if they leave, then obviously we will take that person out, but that will be by request.
That's obvious to me, but it's part of the audit process, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, we don't have a formal audit process to go through all of that
Yeah.
throughout time.
To what extent?
But if somebody leaves, we take them out of the access.
I would agree.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote on 10H and I.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Item 11 is public participation. This is an opportunity for anybody in the public to speak on any subject for a maximum of 3 minutes. Public participation, anyone?
Mr. Chair and fellow commissioners, those of you who have known me, I tell it like it is. Quite honestly, been around the county for 50 years. Never in my experience with the county have I ever worked with a team that's really a team and working together. Honest to God, the project that we have at the Sheriff's Department, the jail, the Finance Department, Macomb IT, the contractors that you've hired have been just fantastic. And I'm not just stroking them. I'm just telling you how it is. It is really excellent. The communication that we have among ourselves within the team and with the board has just been outstanding. And they think, we've got them thinking on time and within budget. And believe it or not, go to these meetings with them. And they're always finding ways to how to improve quality at the cheapest price, in the best interest of the taxpayers. I'm not stroking you, I'm not lying to you. Honest to God, this has been the most fantastic group of people that I've ever had the privilege of working with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last call for public participation. I'll close public participation. I'm having, my civic clerk is doing strange things to me. And commissioner comments.
Chair. Don, before you leave, I just want to say you excluded yourself from that list of team. You're an integral asset into making all that happen, so thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no other commissioner comments, I'll close that and move to
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, my gosh, what is it?
Howard Lucido.
Commissioner Howard.
I'm sorry, you need to be louder.
Wow.
Made the motion and seconded.